So often we think about self-care as being action items that we're supposed to add to our schedule and our to-do list, like get out for a walk or have a nice bubble bath at the end of the day. And while those things can be good for us, today I want to share with you 5 self-care practices that change your mental wellness and change your life. So, I'm April Boyd. I'm a psychotherapist, coach, and breathwork facilitator. And these are the 5 things that have made the biggest difference in my life and that I know will make a difference in your life too. Here we go. Number 1, track your energy, not just your time. So often we look at our calendar and we think, okay, I've got this lunch event this Saturday, and that'll be about 4 hours of my calendar. But we don't actually think about the energy that it takes to get mentally prepared for that, to get organized, to be prepared for that, as well as the energy that it takes during that lunch event, as well as after, as our brains are often processing what happened, the conversations that we had, why something felt off. So, as an example, that 4 hour lunch might just be a couple hours of your time. But let's say you're getting together with your in laws that maybe you have a little bit of a challenging relationship with at times. And your mother in law likes to make passive aggressive comments about your outfit or your relationship or your life. That 4 hours becomes a whole day of recovery the next day as you process what happened, try to make sense of how you're feeling about things, and recover from just the expenditure of effort that it took to navigate that space. So track your energy, not just your time. The next one I want to offer, the second way to do some life changing self care is to detox your circle. Often we have relationships because of habit or convenience or longevity and loyalty, and that can be really valuable. But we have to look at, how am I impacted by these relationships? Because nothing and no one is neutral. Every point of contact you have is either adding value, adding energy, adding goodness and support to your life, or cutting your resources and detracting from that. Now, of course, that might ebb and flow, right, with what's going on in each person's life. But ultimately, you want to look at, how are you being impacted by the people that you invest time and energy into? That can apply to both online and your social media of who you follow and who you connect with. Social media gets a bad rap. I love social media, and it's partly because I only follow accounts that make me feel good, right? As soon as I'm following somebody and I find myself falling too far into this place of comparison or ick or not enoughness that gets triggered, I unfollow that person to protect my own energy and space. Your social circle, whether in real life or online, should nourish you, should support you, should build you up. If it doesn't, it might be that it's okay to do conscious relationships. If I'm choosing to stay into this relationship because of XYZ, and implementing some boundaries around that, or I'm choosing to volunteer my time and energy in this way. But we need to be conscious because every point of contact you have has an impact. So detox your circle. Number 3, only say yes when it is a wholehearted, full body yes. Yes, I want to do this. Yes, I want to come. Yes, this sounds amazing. Yes, I would love to. Because let's face it, we all have a finite amount of hours in the week and energy that's available to us. We have to treat that as important and valuable. And nobody else around you is going to know that answer for you, right? Of how something lands for you, of if it's good for you or if it's not good for you. So while it can feel really great to feel like the hero in that moment, to, have that moment of connection with somebody when they ask you to do something or you're invited to do something, it feels great in that moment to say, sure, I can do that. I'd love to help out. Or, yep, I can make that work. I can be there. We get this quick hit of satisfaction and this quick hit of peace of mind of like, that felt good to be able to give that person what they want. And while there's times where we need to be and want to be generous, giving, loving, all of those things, we have to do that with intention. And I love Danielle Laporte's idea where she says that everything that's on your plate is there because you said yes to it. Mm, isn't that so good? So when you think about the idea of self-care is not just about creating, good healthy habits, although that's certainly interwoven in that. It's about creating a life that feels really good to be in. One where you're not overstretched, overtaxed, and too overwhelmed to actually enjoy the good stuff that you've built and the good stuff that's actually happening in your world. So we need to start getting selective and choosy with our yes. This brings us to number 4. Get some good boundary setting language. Find a few boundary setting phrases that you can keep in your back pocket and use these to kind of replace some of those old automatic autopilot phrases that often we're socially conditioned to use, like, yes, I'm fine, sure, I can do that, yep, no problem, right? These responses that just come out before we've even stopped to check in with ourselves. How am I doing? Do I have space for this? Is that something I even want to do? So we have to start to break a lot of these automatic habits of how we've been conditioned to interact. And instead, start to find some phrases that feel good for you. Maybe that's, thanks for thinking of me, but I'm just not able to do that right now. Or let me check in on that and come back to you. Or I trust that you're going to be able to figure this out on your own. Or I'm sorry that you're going through such a hard time right now. And we just leave it at that without the offer of, let me know what I can do, when maybe you don't have something to do, right? Maybe you are already maxed out and full. And just because you see something that pulls on your heartstrings or that you feel, that emotional response to because you're a good hearted person, we have to be careful that we're not leaping into this automatic language that makes us overfunction, overgive, and overextend ourselves, which creates a life of resentment and being frazzled and burnt out. So instead, starting to build up a few phrases that give you some time to actually check in. Let me think about that and I'll get back to you. The last thing that I want to offer is we need to start making direct requests. We need to get good at asking for and receiving what we actually want. Often, when I talk to my clients, what I'll hear people say is, I ask my partner all the time to do more around the house and they don't, right? Or I'm always asking for more support, but they never step up and listen to me. And as we often unpack that, what I sometimes uncover is they think that they're making actual requests, but what they're really doing is either dropping hints or making complaints. Why am I the only one that has to do anything around here? Why is it always up to me to take care of XYZ, right? Why do you have to be so lazy all the time? Or I'm so stressed and I'm so overwhelmed right now. The people around you often don't know what to do with that information that you're giving them because all that you're really doing is expressing emotion, expressing frustration. And we can put a lot on the people around us to say, they should just know how to support me. They should just know I want them to do more. It should be obvious. But what we get into is confusing somebody's ability to understand you and love you well with their ability to mind read. No matter how much somebody loves you and cares about you, they can't read your mind. So you need to actually do the work of being vulnerable and letting your true needs and wants be seen, coming from a place of softness as opposed to this place of like, I'm already angry. I've bottled this up for so long, right? I've denied my own needs for so long that by the time I express it, it's coming out with a lot of anger and teeth and frustration because I'm so frustrated and angry, right? And instead, making these requests early and often. I'd really love it if you could take care of dinner Wednesday night. I don't care what you make, I don't care what we do, but if you could just take care of that Wednesday night, that would mean a lot to me, right? Direct, clear requests, specific. So, those are my 5 strategies for you to try out to break into some new ways of thinking about self care and creating a life that feels really good. I'd love to know which one stood out to you. And thanks so much for listening. Take care.